Frodrick, did you enjoy my singing?
I'm sure it was very nice, but seeing as how I'm a bat and all, I wouldn't trust my opinion on opera. But if you knew the Draxylvania polka, then I'm your bat.
I just cannot tell if it was good or not. If only I were back at the Perry Academy. Oh, I just wish I were back in Perry altogether.
Yuck! Hey, don't worry, babe. I'll get you out of here. All we gotta do is stick to the PLAN. Capiche?
Thank you, Frodrick. Oh, you're so good to me.
You've been pretty good to me, too. Besides, hanging out with you, I get a chance to torment Mr. Short Veil and Stupid.
I heard that.
Oh, speak of the devil. Aren't you running a little late tonight, errand boy?
I'm starving, Shroudy. I need my wine.
Yes, Mona, my love. I shall go off right away and begin hunting for looking for a wine shop in town. I know just the place. They have an excellent selection of the finest wines. O positive, O negative, my favorite.
Yeah, I'm sure 10 minutes from now will be an excellent vintage.
Are you still here?
Who, me? No.
All right, he's gone. Quick!
Hey, you know he's getting blood, right? You drink blood.
Shh! Now is not the time to start that old argument. It's not blood, it's just, well,
A real thick and salty tasting Merlot with a little iron aftertaste? Is that what that is?
Something like that, yeah.
You know, the Nile is not just a river in colonized British Egyptian Sudan.
Out with it, damn you.
Did you see which one?
Yeah, the third one on the left, I think. Or was it the first one? You know, I really didn't get a good look, but definitely on the left. The last three.
Oh, man! At this rate, I am never going to get off this island.
Patience, child. The stars have aligned and things are about to get interesting.
What was that?
What was what?
Quickly, up to my balcony.
Why? What's going on?
Surprise! Balku, quickly!
No, Mona, my love. I shall never set you free. Don't you know you are mine? Forever!
I hear you. Jeez. I got pretty big ears if you hadn't noticed. And you're not totally free. You still have to find the key to the boathouse. Till then, you're stuck here.
Oh, right. Good point.
That was very unusual. He said Mona? Who is this Mona, I wonder? Our work here is most decidedly not done.
way I can open this thing unless we find that key. It's a stone gargoyle. This one looks uncomfortable.
Like he's between a rock and a hard place?
It's a stone gargoyle. He looks very mean and heartless.
In other words, stone cold?
I know Shroudy hid the key in one of these gargoyles. Oh, I just can't remember which one. It's a stone gargoyle, short and ugly.
Kinda reminds me of Shroudy.
I know Shroudy hid the key in one of these gargoyles. I just can't remember which one.
Guess we're gonna have to search all of them. It's a bear rug.
Is it just me, or are its eyes following us? It's so rusty. It will definitely shatter if I hit anything with it, but it may have other uses. I'll remember it's here. It's a rather ornate hanging banner.
It's the Von Kiefer family crest. A two-headed vulture holding some thigh bones.
I can't make out the family motto. Fudzik?
Get to pickin' while the pickins are good. Words to live by.
The tapestry is fairly loose. I'm not going to pull it down right now, but if I need it at some point, I'll remember that it's here. I don't know what it is about this mirror, but I simply don't look like myself.
You're pulling my wing, right?
What do you mean?
Sweetheart, it looks like Shroudy taped the picture over your mirror, probably because he didn't want you to see, or actually not see, your reflection. Apparently, he had some 6-year-old kid draw the picture.
Wait a minute. What does it say down in the corner? With love from Shroudy.
Scratch the 6-year-old kid idea. I guess I'll have to add art to my list of things that Shroudy sucks at. Maybe I'll put it just below escaping vampire hunters. I'd tear this picture down, but I'm afraid of what I'll see underneath. You mean not see, right?
I better take this. I might need it at some point. I'd better grab this. After we escape, we won't have time to stop and eat. So we better bring these along. It's a lovely collection of vases.
Mona? Those aren't vases.
What do you mean?
You see the names on them? Edgar von Trapperkeeper, Ferris von Bueller, Klaus von Kiefer. Vases generally don't have proper names or titles. Those are all of the Baroness's dead husbands.
And all this time, I thought they were just designer potpourri containers. She sure had a lot of unlucky husbands.
Yeah, unlucky that they met her.
I might need that, but I can't carry it around with me. I'll keep it in mind. I'm not tired right now. Besides, I rather enjoy staying up late. Although sometimes it makes me so tired, I end up sleeping the entire day away.
Gee, I wonder why. Could it have anything to do with being a vampire?
Vampire schmampire. It's just a simple curse, nothing more. It's a vase full of dead roses. Shroudy used to bring me flowers every week, but they were always pretty much the same.
Roses?
Dead. I'm going to take this. It's a hand-drawn picture. I think it's supposed to be Shroudy's mother.
Picasso, he ain't. That's for sure.
It looks like one of those toys that you spin and then it makes the various animal noises. This animal noise toy just might come in handy. It's the dark, frigid waters of Lake Varg.
Do people swim in it?
Well, sometimes they float. Usually face down. Fodrick, may I ask you something?
Sure, hit me. Ow! Bad abuse!
Remember that time we were talking in my room, Fodrick? Tell me again about the time we met.
I know you like this story, so I'll tell it one more time. I was up in one of the tower lofts, going over the haul of grubs and bugs I found under a newly fallen tree, when the Belfry boys cornered me. You see, I had this incident with Rocco's, the leader's sister, and he thought I needed a good butt kicking. Plus, apparently I owed them for protection. But from what, I could never figure out. Anyway, they were blocking the window, and there was no other way out. Luckily, it was an old turret roof. So I said something to Rocco to provoke him, and he rushed me. I ducked out of his way, and he crashed through the back of the roof, opening my escape route.
What did you say that got him so mad?
I just asked him what he was going to do to me, and he said, "When I'm through doing to you what I've been dying to do to you for a long time, you won't ever walk again." And I said, "What a coincidence. That is exactly what your mom said to me last night right after dinner."
No, you didn't.
Never seen a bat change colors like that before. Anyway, Rocco was pretty out of it. So I escaped through the Rocco-shaped doorway he had just made and headed down to your balcony because the doors were open. I thought I might be able to lose the Belfry boys in the castle. That's when I ran into you in the Great Hall.
You almost knocked me over.
Yeah, I didn't see you. I just about knocked myself silly. Well, then the rest, you know.
I remember this cute little bat being chased by 3 bigger and mean-looking bats. And I thought, this is certainly not fair. So I transformed, grabbed one bat, and then turned back into a human. I used him to beat up the other 2. I must have made an impression because I haven't seen hide nor hair of them since.
And thanks again for that, Mona. I owe you big time.
Oh no, don't worry about it. Get me safely back to Pelly and we'll call it even. Deal?
Deal.
Why are you helping me get back to Pelly?
Well, kiddo, that is a good question, and one I ask myself on occasion. I think it's because before you, I didn't really have a goal in life. I thought I'd hook up with a she-bat, settle down, and have a normal bat life. But then I met you. You were so full of determination and full of dreams. I just thought helping you achieve your goals would feel good. So now your goals are my goals. Plus, helping you escape will really cheese off that jackass Shroudy. I really hate that guy.
I want to know more about Draxylvania.
Draxylvania means woodland of the devil. And they ain't kidding. I think Old Scratch took a liking to this place and made it his own. This country just seems to attract the creepiest, darkest, most angst-ridden people and creatures in the world. But we make some real good cheese. Draxylvania blood cheese. The best blood cheese in the world.
I think it's the only blood cheese in the world. Sounds... oh, yummy. What do you know about Shroudy and his mother?
Ever since I've been here, the old hag ruled the place. I was told she had married a succession of barons in the Lake Vog district, but they all died of something or another. I think they all caught a case of the murder myself. That murder, boy, it'll kill ya. She got this castle when she married the Baron von Kiefer. I think he died of a concussion.
She hit him?
No, the stones of the courtyard did. At terminal velocity. Knocked him out cold. He never woke up. Poor dumb bastard. After that, I heard she threw lavish feasts and parties with all sorts of odd people. Some say there were black magic worshippers, witches, dark spirits, and wizards. Man, I wish I had been invited. I hear witches can really party.
I'm sure during the feasts, some poor person got sacrificed for their black rights.
Yeah, around here, it really isn't a party till someone gets sacrificed. After that, things apparently settled down a bit. Then she just disappeared. Never saw her again. That's when Shroudy went on his long holidays. We all assumed to look for her. But as it turns out, he gave up on that. He was really looking for a replacement. You. And I'm sorry to say, I don't think you were the first one.
Are you looking forward to going back to Pelly?
Sure. But the problem with France is that they have a lot of French people there.
True. But you get used to it after a while.
No, really. I'm looking forward to it. Eating at cafes, drinking wine, real wine, enjoying works of art, telling foreign tourists to go to hell. France sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, that's enough talk for now.
Mona, snap out of it.
I'm awake. Oh, what are you doing? Am I dressed? Look at that! Beneath the snow are some flower bulbs. Even with the snow gone, I doubt they'll grow. That dirt looks like it hasn't been refreshed in years.
Well, Mona, I'd say from the slight browning and the horizontal striping you see towards the top of the exterior skin, those are 100% pure belladonna buds.
Wow, Fudgik. I didn't know you knew so much about flowers.
Well, you see, Helena, my last girlfriend, dumped me after I gave her some flowers.
Oh, Fudgik. That was sweet. Why did she dump you?
They sent her into anaphylactic shock. After that, I thought it might be a good idea to know a bit more about flowers. Rocco, her brother, still wants to beat me to a pulp for that.
I feel like maybe we should say a few words or something. After all, these are the Baron's remains.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to say goodbye to the Baron von Kiefer. And though he's already walked through the valley of the shadow of death, today we must ask not what this planter box can do for him, but what he can do for this planter box. Ashes to ashes, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. Now dump that sucker.
Touching, Frederick. Truly touching. That didn't do anything. Flat.
What'd you expect? It's ash. Noble ash, but still just ash nonetheless.
It's a note pinned to the control panel.
Let me save you crow's feet and read that for you. It says, Baron Shroudy, I fixed the control panel for the theater flats. I had to, find something about, cross-wired to some power source? We'll fix it next time, I think. Signed RM. Man, this guy must be a doctor. I can barely read this note.
The levers appear to be jammed. Something is blocking their movement.
I already broke it once. I don't think it's a good idea for me to mess with it anymore.
The levers appear to be jammed. Something is blocking their movement. It's a bunch of levers, but whatever it is they're supposed to do isn't working.
They're actually used to make the theater backdrops go up and down, and they used to work just fine.
How do you know this?
Because the current backdrop has a giant sun on it. I used to wait until Shroudy was walking by the theater, and then pull the lever and make the sun suddenly appear. It used to scare the crap out of him.
What do you mean used to?
Well, I kind of broke it. I was sitting there waiting for Shroudy to walk by, and I started to feel hungry. So I went and got some nut and fruit snacks out of my cage. While I was happily munching away, a couple of them slipped through my wings and fell down inside the control panel. Ever since then, I haven't been able to pull the levers.
Can't you reach in there and grab your nuts and dried fruits?
Unfortunately, the holes in the panel are too narrow for me to fit my wings through.
You need to learn to be less messy when you eat. I sure hope we don't need to use these for some reason. But considering how things have gone so far, I'm sure we will. It's the dedication plaque for this theater.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Shroudy might have a crush on you.
It's a tragic version of the traditional comedy tragedy masks, only with a slight vampiric twist. It's a comedic version of the traditional comedy tragedy masks, only with a slight vampiric twist.
A vampire comedy? Give me a break.
Seriously, as if anybody would ever try to write one of those.
If they did, I would hope they'd give all the really good lines to the vampire's wacky sidekick. It's the decapitated head of a bear.
How barbaric!
But the taxidermy is very sophisticated. Note the flawless preservation of his dying roar. It's a particularly large squirrel with fangs.
That's a beaver, bug brain.
Lame. Giant vampire squirrels would have been way cooler.
affectionate little piggy.
It's actually a boar, like its former owner. And really, how many pigs have not met an unfortunate end? It's not like pig milk is in high demand.
It's a mythical horse whose horns are said to grant 3 wishes to whomever touches them.
Actually, that's a male deer. And they don't grant wishes. That's a 9th level spell. You're thinking of a unicorn whose horn is said to neutralize poison, along with many other powers that depend on who's running the game. Even if Draxylvanian unicorns could grant wishes, the material components of such a spell...
Wait, stop! I have something very important to say. Mona is bored. It appears to be the decapitated head of a stuffed animal?
They killed Smuggle Bunny! You bastards!
I don't want to touch that. There's nothing off stage. It's absolutely, completely empty. There's no reason whatsoever to go back there.
But maybe we should...
Trust me once for a change. I bet a big, heavy hitting thing might be useful somewhere, but I'm not going to carry it around. I'll keep it in mind, though. That's a rather odd-looking item. I wonder what it's used for.
I'll take a wild guess. How about grinding stuff?
It appears to be some sort of hideous torture device. I wonder where the Baroness would find such a thing.
Maybe she went shopping at that trendy new Swedish torture furniture superstore. I've heard they have a wide selection of inexpensive torture gear, and when you walk through the store, they have a bunch of different dungeon rooms set up so you can actually see how your torture device would look once you take it home.
It looks like a poker and a brazier full of hot coals. Obviously, this is another one of Shroudy's torture devices. Judging from the smell in the air, I'd say it's gotten some use lately.
Is that what that is? Oh, man! I thought maybe somebody was cooking hamburgers down here. My mouth started watering as soon as we came down the steps.
that thing?
Let me see. It looks like there's a small plaque down on the corner of the chair. Let me read it. It says, Acme Groin Crusher.
Aren't you going to follow that up with some kind of witty comment?
Mona, there are some things you simply do not joke about.
It's some sort of fake man thing. I don't know what it is, but it looks like maybe it was made out of clay.
Poor fellow. He really lost his head. I think he's a magically created golem. Somebody made him and sent him here for a reason.
I think we all know what that is. I don't need to be dragging my bed.
Coffin.
I'm going to ignore that. Anyway, I don't need my bed right now, but it's good to know that it's here in case I need it later. It won't budge. The coffin has some kind of combination lock on the side of it. Hello there.
Well, hello there, dearie. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You can talk.
Oh, don't be frightened, my dears. I won't harm you.
Who are you?
My name is Barbara, although my friends call me Barb. Get it, Barb?
Yeah, I think we get it. Bob, as in a sharp metal device that slowly and painfully rends flesh as it gets pushed into some poor bastard's body? That's downright hilarious. Well, maybe that guy doesn't find it so funny.
Oh, just ignore him. That.
Aside from torturing people, what do you do down here?
Well, I'm actually the torture chamber stenographer. It's my job to record what's being said down here when Shroudy or the Baroness are, in a serious discussion with her, guests.
What kind of stuff have you heard? Could you tell us?
Oh, sure. I don't think that would harm anything. I like to think of myself as an open book. And speaking of books, that's what the Baroness would usually be asking about. Shroudy, on the other hand, he usually didn't ask anything at all.
Why? Was Shroudy too shy?
No, too sadistic. The one fellow over there without his head, Shroudy really went after. That's right around the time when the Baroness disappeared. Curious thing about that guest.
What?
He didn't bleed at all. Shroudy took one whack at his head and it fell on the floor and shattered like a Ming vase. Very, very odd. Even for around here.
Book? What book?
Oh, yes. The Book of Shrouds was always the topic of discussion for the Baroness. It was mostly various priests, scholars, magicians, historians, and, holy men that the Baroness would bring down here. She was definitely trying to extract knowledge from them about that book.
When was the last time you saw the Baroness?
She was torturing that headless man over there several years ago. After she got the information she wanted, she left the castle in a hurry and never returned.
Do you have this session memorized right before the Baroness left?
Yes, let me see. I believe I have it here. It's been a few years. Here I go. Man from Cabal. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It hurts so much. I can't take it.
Do you think you could skip ahead a little bit to where he was actually talking?
Yes, of course. Man from Cabal. Yes, I have the tome you're looking for. It will give you all the secrets to unlocking the book. Baroness, tell me where it is or I'm going to shove this hot poker.
Oh, my! Could we please, skip ahead a little bit more?
Oh, certainly. Man from Cabal. The tome is in my camp, buried at the base of a large oak tree near the Vargo Pass crossroads. Baroness, you'd better not be lying to me, or when I return, you will feel pain as you have never felt it before. After that, the Baroness disappeared. A few days later, Shroudy came downstairs screaming about a trap. He took an axe and tried to chop the poor fellow's head off. But when the head rolled off, there was no blood. It wasn't a man at all. It was some kind of talking clay statue or some such.
I think it's called a clay golem.
How do you know about that?
Used to play a lot of Dungeons and Dogs. The clay golems dropped a lot of loot and were pretty aggro.
I should have known. Bob, please go on.
Apparently, somebody was laying a trap for the Baroness. And it must have worked, for she never returned.
What did Shroudy do after that?
I believe he searched frantically for months, but he didn't find a single trace of her at Vargo Pass or anywhere else in Draxylvania. Poor little monster. He lost his mommy so young. He was devoted to her, you know. He got lonely and left on holiday soon after that. He came back occasionally with a new female companion, but he seemed to grow tired of each one after a time. Then off he would go again.
Hey, Mona, that may explain why you're here.
Yes, from what I've seen, he likes you best of them so far. Maybe it's because you look so much like her.
Like whom?
Oh, his mother, the Baroness, of course.
What was this cabal you mentioned?
I don't know, but I do recall they all seemed to wear a belt that had a gold circle with a star in the middle and an eye in the middle of the star. The Baroness seemed to really, give them special attention.
Who was the guess you speak of?
The Baroness would search all over the world for priests and scholars, or even wizards and witches, and invite them to stay at the castle, all expenses paid.
Let me guess. She slipped them a Mickey, and instead of the spa, they ended up down here.
Right. Then she would ask me to take down everything I heard for future reference. When she was done, some went into the pit, and a few she took somewhere else. Maybe another dungeon somewhere. I don't know. As you can imagine, I don't get around much.
What does being an Iron Maiden pay?
Pay? Oh, no. I have to do this. I'm not sure why. Torturing people does seem horrible and just downright unfriendly and all, but we all have to follow the paths our creators have laid down for us. My path in this life is to slowly squeeze the life out of people and record their thoughts on the matter. Simple, true, but still rewarding. Settle down, or Mama isn't going to be happy.
How come we have never had the pleasure of talking before?
Well, the Baroness and later Shroudy always told me never to talk to strangers or any guests. But now that they're both gone, I just feel free to talk to you for some reason.
How are you able to talk?
Oh, for the longest time, I was scrap metal from a wrecked ship, the SS Woebegone, out of Lake Superior. Then I was sold to Acme Toys, Tools, and Torture Devices in Port Varda. There I was forged and cast and shipped here. Then, one Christmas Eve, the Baroness made a wish upon a bright star that I would come to life. And what do you know? A magical fairy came down and granted her wish, and that is how I came to life.
Are you sure that's the way it happened?
Pretty sure.
Do you happen to know the combination to Shroudy's coffin?
No, I'm sorry. I don't know the whole combination, but I am pretty sure the first number is 0, though. Unfortunately, from my position, I can really only see the first number. Wish I could help more. Oh, good idea. My grumbling stomach thinks you should go ask Ozzy, the fountain gargoyle. He might have had a better vantage point of the combination.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
I should warn you, he is a bit rusty in the head and is sometimes impossible to understand.
Well, I better be going. It's been very nice talking with you.
You too. Shh, hush. Bye-bye.
Fountain. How are you doing today?
I think he said, "I'd love to chat with you, but it's hard to speak with a high-pressure jet of water emanating from my mouth."
I can imagine. I wonder if there's a way to turn it off somehow.
There aren't any valves to shut off the water that I can see. Maybe they're somewhere else.
Hello?
Hey, hello there yourself, Dollface. How you doing today?
Hi there. Do you mind if I ask you some questions?
For a tall glass of water like you, I would be glad to. Shoot, hot stuff.
Who are you?
My name is Frank, although my friends call me Frankie. I'm here with my associates, Sammy, Joey, and Dean. We've been living in this castle for quite some time. You might say we manage the neighborhood.
How you doing, Frankie?
Hey, look, yous guys, it's the Froadmeister. I told you about him. This crazy guy could do things with his calcutta that would make your head spin. You still do that trick, eh, Frody?
Oh, no, Frankie. I've sort of stopped doing stuff like that. I'm laying off the vino now, staying clean, if you know what I mean.
Forget about it. Yo, hey, sorry to hear about the thing with Rocco. You know, he's still looking for you. He and the Belfry boys are still pretty steamed up. You better make it right and soon. Capiche?
And what about you? Looks like you got yourself a full-on rat pack.
Don't be a wise guy. You trying to be some kind of comedian or something?
Nah, I really think of myself as more of a short, one-eyed song and dance man.
Please forgive him.
Forget about it.
Do you and your associates know the layout of the castle?
Oh, yeah. My associates and I use the old plumbing running through the castle to get from room to room. They pretty much have the run of the place, with the exception of the kitchen.
Why can't you go into the kitchen?
Well, the Baroness's cat hangs out in there. She's taken down a lot of my soldiers. Just the other day, she whacked my cousin Jimmy the Rat Carboni.
Not the most inventive nickname I've ever heard.
What are you gonna do? It's a popular name. Everybody wants it. So what am I gonna do?
How come I never met you before?
Well, your master Baron Shroudy wasn't too fond of us. So we laid low until we heard from Edgar the Raven that Shroudy got whacked. Did you order that hit?
What? Me? No! I didn't even know you could order a hit. Or I might have been tempted to order one sooner.
And I've heard you singing, too. It's nice, but a bit overwhelming and loud. You need to learn to control it better so you don't blow away your audience.
Gee, thanks. Opera tips from a rat.
An Italian rat? If we Italians know anything, it's opera. You're good. You just need some coaching.
You guys use the pipes, right? We might need some plumbing help.
Yeah, we know this castle's plumbing like the back of our claws.
Do you guys know how to turn off the fountain over there?
Well, we might be able to do that for you. For a price.
Always a price with these guys. Ever heard of altruism?
Yeah, my grandmother had that. Her shaking got so bad we eventually had to hand feed her. This was just before that pie-whacker son of a... got her. So, what about it?
Oh, never mind. What do you want this time?
Well, nothing in particular. Just trade us something of value and we'll fix your pipes. No problem. I'll get Remy the Ratfink to do it for you if we can drag him away from that stupid cookbook he found.
Fine. We'll think of something.
Yeah, you do that. Anything else?
No, that is enough.
Hey, I can never get enough of talking to you, honey pie.
Do you know the combination to Shroudy's coffin?
You know, we never did try to steal his combo. He never had anything we wanted to borrow. But I bet Ozzy over at the water pool or Big Bad Barb over here saw something. Then why not ask them?
Okay, I will. Thanks.
Hey, anything for you, Dollface. You got any more questions for Papa Frankie over here?
Bob over there mentioned something about a magic book the Baroness was interested in. Are you familiar with that?
How could we not be? It's all the Baroness ever screamed about while she was torturing the poor bastard she brought down here.
You mind telling me about it?
Well, that depends. That's where my memory enters what you call a gray area.
How gray?
Navy blue. But it might get a little more beige if you do us a solid.
What is it you want us to do so that you'll tell us about the book?
We need you to hit somebody for us, and it needs to be a real message job. Hi, Wacket, the Baroness's cat lives near the kitchen. You take her out, and maybe we can do some business.
You want me to kill a defenseless little kitty?
Defenseless, she's 20 pounds of pure feline killing machine. She's too much for any of my capos to handle. We even brought in a specialist from Sicily. After Pyewacket was finished with him, all that was left was a single foot.
I guess this Pyewacket likes Italian.
You take care of this little problem for us and bring a collar as proof the deed was done. We'll tell you what you need to know to get to the Book of Shrouds. I will tell you this much. To find the Book of Shrouds, you're going to have to gain access to the Baroness's secret laboratory, which is only accessible through the library. Now, that's all I'm going to tell you until you bring me the cat's collar.
All right, fine. Kill a defenseless little kitten and bring back the collar as proof.
Yeah, that's it. You have any more questions for me, sweet cheeks?
Au revoir.
Hey, fellas, look who's back. That tall drink of water and the Froedmeister. Now, what can we do for yous?
We have these mixed nuts and dried fruit snacks for you. You think you might want these in exchange for helping us out?
Fruits and nuts, huh? Well, all right. Toss them here.
Here you are. Soon as you are done eating, can you please stop the water from coming out over there?
Hey, these are delicious. Hey, Dino, go kill the water on the fountain. Dean, baby, you okay? Uh-oh, I think he's stuck.
Look, Mona, the water in the fountain stopped.
Oh, well, I guess you two won't ever get the chance to hear him sing Bats Amore. Pity, he was pretty good. Anyway, glad we could be of service, and thanks for the nuts and fruits. Ciao.
Bonsoir. Who are you?
My name is Ozzy. I'm a fountain. Yeah, fountain, and I think I'm a... Well, wait, what was the question?
Seems like maybe this guy's been drinking something else besides water.
What do you do down here?
Well, I sit around and watch things, you know, you know, there are people that come in and out of here, and sometimes I see things, and I like to write songs, but what's my name again?
You said you see things around here? What kind of things?
Usually, it's blokes getting tortured, but aside from that, there's usually a couple of people who come down here just before sunrise, and then they climb into them funny-looking beds. But one is a short, pasty-faced dude with a bad temperament. But the other one, she's a tall, good-looking broad. You know, she looks a lot like you, actually.
That's because it is me. My name is Mona. That short, pasty-faced dude you mentioned is keeping me locked in this castle against my will.
That's not right. Is there anything I can do to help?
You said you see Shroudy. When he goes to bed, does he do anything unusual?
Well, it seems like he's always fumbling about with that weird clock on the side of his bed.
Weird clock?
Well, yeah. I see him dialing in a couple of numbers. I assumed it might be a reminder he set for himself to take his meds on account of him being nuts and all, right? But I have some experience with medication myself. Or should I say, medicating myself.
Ozzy, would you mind telling us the numbers he uses?
Oh, yeah, right, sure. Yeah, well, I think there are 3 numbers, but I only know 2 of them. And the numbers are 3 and then and 7, and I know that 7 is the final number.
Thank you, Ozzy. You've been very helpful. That is all I need to know.
You did it, Mona. The coffin is opening.
Knowing what a little pervert Shroudy is, I'm not sure I want to know what's under his pillow.
Darn, it's only the newspaper. You kinda got my hopes up there for a minute.
I'm gonna grab this. It might come in handy.
Looks like Loverboy had a few pictures made of you. How does that make you feel?
Sorry, I couldn't speak for a moment. I had to swallow a mouthful of bile back down. This might come in handy, but I'm not carrying it around. I'll keep it in mind. It's a large metal spike, probably used to hold prisoners' coats. Right, Frederick?
Yeah. I mean, no. Actually, it's an art installation by some guy named Vlad Tepes. He used to put a bunch of stuff on it, but I forget what.
That's strange. I never realized the castle had a sub-basement. It looks a little hot in there.
Who's that mean-looking dude with the pitchfork? And who is that standing next to him?
You mean the guy with the stupid look on his face and the name tags that says, "My name is George"? I have no idea. It's a couple of chains.
Now all we need are some chips, dip, whips, and we got ourselves a party.
It's stuck. The hinges appear to be rusted shut. I won't be able to open this up until the hinges are working. My, they sure spilled a lot of ketchup down here, and on this wall particularly.
Ketchup looks more like old positive salty tasting Merlot to me.
It's a rather ghoulish looking smiley face.
You've got to love the power of positive thinking. Here he was, trapped in a dungeon, obviously bleeding, and yet he chose to make a smiley face instead of a frown. It's really quite uplifting if you think about it.
Re-drum. What does re-drum mean?
It's Moo-Rurder spelled backwards, I think. I knew a Moo-Rurder once. He owes me money.
You're really not making any sense. loosened one of them up, but I had to use all the lotion in the bottle. Now it's empty. Let's crush Frederick's fruits and nuts.
Hold on. What are you doing? Mona, please wait.
Relax, Frederick. They are just the fruits and nuts from your cage.
Oof. On a somewhat related note, I'll let you know when my heart restarts.
This bottle is empty. I can fill it up with this dripping oil. That did it. Both hinges are now loose. That did it. The pit is now open.
Man, that smells horrible.
Ugh. An unlit torch won't help here. An unlit torch won't help here. Yes, if I need to light the torch, that would do it.
All we need now is a few hundred close friends with pitchforks and sticks, and we'll be ready to storm the castle of the local mad scientist.
Ugh, that is such an unimaginative cliché. Oh my! Frederick! It looks like a pile of rotting bodies. How revolting!
It looks like there are a couple of fresh ones down there. They still got some meat on them.
Why on God's good green earth did the Baroness dump bodies down here?
Now we know why it stinks so bad. I had heard rumors about the fate of the Baroness's numerous guests after they came here, but man, she was one messed up witch.
It's a good thing I haven't eaten anything this morning. Otherwise, I might be making a contribution to whatever's down in that pit.
You mean you're on the verge of blowing chunks, yodeling in the gully, talking to Ralph on the big white telephone, executing a Technicolor yawn, launching lunch, delivering street pizza, or involuntarily creating a personal protein spill?
Frederick, you're more than a little twisted, but highly creative. It's the lake monster of Lake Vob, a hideous creature that slinks through the water, devouring whatever creatures he can find. A monstrous creature.
Well, in his defense, he is technically a monster.
Why are you defending him?
Let's just say I know what it's like to be a misunderstood miscreant mired in melancholy.
Nice alliteration.
Thank you. Nice assonance.
Hello, Mr. Lake Monster. I think you are so glossy and shiny and powerful looking. I bet you're just misunderstood and not monstrous at all.
What are you trying to do? Make a new friend or something?
Did it ever occur to you that once we find a way out of this castle, we're probably going to end up encountering that creature? What if it ends up that he's hungry and he decides he wants to eat one of us? At that point, is he more likely to choose the friendly, young woman or the annoying little bat who is always being mean to him?
Hey, Lake Monster, you rock! Buddy old pal of mine, you rule!
It's the shoreline of Lake Vob. I have to find a way to escape this damnable castle so that I can get over there and back to Paris.
Why don't you fly over there again? I know it's kind of far, but I think we could make it.
For some reason, I can't fly over moving water. It must be part of the magic curse Shroudy placed on me.
Curse, huh? Does the name of this so-called curse rhyme with Vampyre?
I bet I could provoke the gargoyle that has the key by smashing them all with that mace.
Hey, that's not half bad, and it will be extremely fun. Let's do it. Yeesh. Looks like our favorite lake monster has a serious case of acid reflux disease.
Whatever that is, it sounds painful.
Inky needs to stop eating so much Italian.
Oh, like lasagna or pizza?
No, Italians. Like the boat full of Venetian tourists that he sank yesterday.
Please, I feel as though we started off on the wrong foot, or in your case, perhaps the wrong claw. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mona de Laffite.
Charmed, I'm sure. I don't usually associate with common folk such as yourself. As you appear to be a lady, I would consider kissing your hand, but based on the smell of you, I must conclude that you are clearly a member of the unwashed masses.
You certainly are an unpleasant creature.
You would be unpleasant too if you endured what I have.
Like what? Tell me your story.
Oh, very well. Many years ago, the Baroness von Kiefer created me in her workshop. Apparently, the Baron's death left the castle a bit on the lonely side. After my creation, I was allowed to reside in the library. The Baroness and I would spend hours talking, and in my free time, I was given full access to the Von Kiefer library. During the day, I would spend hours upon hours educating myself and feasting upon literary delicacies such as Shakespeare, Chaucer, and Milton. A most enjoyable experience, I assure you.
Why are you so angry?
Do you really want to hear my story?
If you tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
Oh, very well. Many years ago, the Baroness von Kiefer created me in her workshop.
I'm curious. How did you end up on this bridge?
The Baroness decided she wanted to have a child.
A child? Who was the father? You?
No. I assure you, no child of mine would turn out like Shroudy. And if it did, I would have thrown him into the lake.
That would seriously impact your chances of getting one of those world's greatest dad coffee mugs.
No, truth be told, I don't know who Shroudy's father is. All I know is that the Baroness disappeared into her workshop. There were some strange sounds. Then the crying of a child. I can't imagine what went on down there. Your guess is as good as mine on the origin of that alien.
The Baroness of this castle?
Yes. Before Shroudy ruled here, the Baroness Lilith von Kiefer was in charge.
So then you and she...
Oh, don't be absurd.
Stop right there. I don't want to know.
Oh, don't be absurd.
Good. I didn't want that image in my head. You don't seem to like Shroudy.
Oh, God, no. Not at all. After he was born, my days of living quietly in the library were over. He thought I was his play toy and pestered me constantly. Finally, one day after he attempted to dress me up in one of the Baroness's nightgowns, I yelled at him and told him to never touch me again. He ran off crying to the Baroness, and that's all it took. I've been on this bridge ever since.
If you hated Shroudy so much, why didn't you leave after the Baroness disappeared?
You of all people should know. Like you, I'm magically bound to this castle. I can't just simply fly away. As punishment for yelling at her son, I'm doomed to be stuck out in the cold, forever holding this key in my mouth.
If you hate Shroudy so much, why not just give us the key?
Let me take your suggestion under advisement. I think not.
You are such a jerk.
Well then, I guess that's why I'm not going to give you the key, because I'm just a jerk. Now run along, you two, back to your tower. Get comfortable, because without this key, there's no way you're getting through that door. Oh, did I mention the door and the key were enchanted? So, as you can see, there's no way you're getting through that door, and no way I'm giving you this key.
Name your price for the key. Any price.
I might have something. Get rid of the Raven Edgar for me, and then we can talk about giving you the key.
No way. Edgar's cool. Why don't you like him?
He is a bird. He sits above me. I am a statue. You figure it out. Let's just say he has bad aim.
Or good aim, from my point of view.
It's disgusting. Just like you. Get rid of him and I may think about giving you the key. Till then, leave me alone so I may think my thoughts.
Oh, so that's what you snooty types call picking your nose and scratching your backside. I always wondered.
Enough! Rufus, where is this Edgar Raven you speak of?
Haven't you been listening? He sits above me at a raven roost at the top of the tower. Now please return to the great unwashed masses from whence you came.
I think it is night time we go.
Funny, I had that exact thought.
That's the bottom of the tower with what appears to be some sort of birdhouse at the top.
That's where Edgar lives. He's the only guy in the whole castle who knows how to party.
Let's go see what's up.
Edgar's up. And he's sober.
Sober? Are you sure? Not from where I'm standing. Excuse me, Mr. Raven. Might I have a quick word with you?
Yeah, sure.
My name is Mona. What's yours?
The name's Edgar. Hey, I've seen you before. You're that gal the short guy keeps locked up in the tower, aren't you?
Yes. My full name is Mona de Laffite. Pleased to make your acquaintance. And yes, I am sad to say that for the past year, Shroudy has kept me locked up in this castle. But now I finally have a chance at freedom. Earlier tonight, Shroudy was killed. We heard his screams from across the lake.
Dead, huh? Well, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. So now the castle is yours. Don't worry about me staying here. I'm building a permanent nest in Gosford Falls near where my girl lives. But until I make a good nest and collect my fortune, she won't marry me. So this is my bachelor pad till then.
I can't get through the door that's right below you. Rufus, one of the gargoyles, has the key, but he won't give it to us.
Well, I'd like to help you, but I don't know too much about those gargoyles. All I know is that every time I do my business, I hear one of them yelling up at me from below.
Oh!
Well, I'm a bird. I do bird stuff. But they haven't had much to complain about lately. I'm a bit backed up, if you know what I mean.
Maybe.
Yeah, the carrion pickings are always pretty slim in the winter. But come spring, it'll be a veritable feast of dried out carrion. That'll get the old pipes flowing.
Good to know, I guess. That is all I need to know. It's the latest edition of the Traxylvania Times Picayune. Ignore the bloodstains. I think it's yesterday's edition.
Hey, thanks. Now I can find out how the All Blacks are doing. I really appreciate it.
As a reward, can we borrow your clothespin for a while?
Yeah, no problem. I won't need it since I want to catch up with this paper for a while.
Well, that didn't work. I'm stronger than I was, but I still can't push this over.
Wait, Mona! Rufus isn't under the statue. If you drop it on him, it'll miss and hit the stone wall next to him.
You're right, Frederick. We better find a way to get the key from him. Frederick, I have this clothespin you can use for your nose.
Gee, thanks, Mona. I didn't get you anything. I'll put it on when you need me to. It's pretty nasty down here, Mona. This place has more paper boys than a newspaper delivery convention, and more wizard types than a Scottish school for witchcraft and wizardry. This one was a kid with glasses. One of the bodies has legs that were pretty muscular. There's definitely some high-fiber flesh residue left on the thigh bones. I could pull off a chunk if we need it. Hey, Mona, will you do me a favor?
But of course, Frederick. What do you want?
Don't ask me for any more favors.
Frederick, use the clothespin on your nose again. Go down and get some dried carrion meat for Edgar. That might get his, his...
Yeah, I know, pipe's moving. Good idea. The results of that might motivate Rufus to move his stone butt. I'm on it.
You'll have to excuse me. I've got some business to attend to. Like I said, a bird's gotta do what a bird has gotta do.
What the... Hey, watch it, you smelly miscreant. If I didn't have to guard this door, I'd come up there and give you the thrashing of a lifetime.
Blow it out your pie hole, Rufus, or I'll take better aim next time.
Let's see you take this under advisement, jerkweed.
I find your humor as tasteless as that ridiculously gaudy black gown you're wearing.
Speaking of taste, how's about we position you directly under that raven's roost over there? I understand that Edgar is fixing roadkill tacos this evening. Tomorrow morning should be quite disgusting.
You wouldn't dare. How could you be so cruel?
Well, I guess I'm just a jerk. Frederick, help me move Mr. Soon-to-be water closet over to the ledge.
Okay. Take your damned key.
I get anywhere near him, I think he'll bite my hand off. Okay, let's see if this key will finally do the trick. Hooray! A boat is still here, Frederick! Finally, we have a way to escape this damnable castle.
Not so fast, Toots. Looks like we got ourselves a small problem. Unless you happen to have a couple of oars hidden in that dress of yours, we're not going anywhere. It's kind of hard to paddle a boat without the actual paddles.
Feast in Shen! Can't anything be easy around here?
Without those oars, it's going to be impossible to make it across the lake. The current is way too strong. And then there's Inky. Let me think. Mona? Remember when I said we had a small problem?
Yes, Frederick?
Well, I think it just got bigger.
What the hell is that?
You mean, who the hell am I? And hell is right, for it is I, Shroudy. I am back.
I didn't think it was possible to
Return from the dead as an all-powerful shadow spirit?
get even uglier than you were. That is amazing.
Mock me all you want, little rodent, because in my moment of triumph I care not what you think. You, on the other hand, my dear, I care deeply about. My brilliant dark jewel. Not even my death can keep us apart.
How did you manage this? You aren't that clever.
You can thank the magical arcane tome my mother used to create me. She told me I was the living manifestation of black magic itself. And so, although my vampire body has perished, my dark spirit shall live on forever.
Aha! I knew you couldn't have done this on your own.
Regardless, you and I shall never be separated again. I will be with you for all of eternity, my sweet.
It hurts!
Yes, my dear. Although I am no longer susceptible to the vulnerabilities all vampires suffer, you, on the other hand, are. So, as long as I maintain the sign of the cross near this boat, you will never be able to escape this island.
Hey, Mona. Unfortunately, stupid Dark and Cloudy over there might be right. I'm not strong enough to pull those oars out of his hands, and you can't get close enough. We're gonna have to find somebody or something else to do it for us.
Take this knife. I think I might need it. I don't think I'll need the cup, but the straw might be useful. This looks like something I might be able to use eventually. I might need this. There appears to be a small hole in the kitchen wall. I wonder if something lives back there.
I'm sure that's just evidence of some spat between Shroudy and the Baroness. You know how teenagers can be. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to open old wounds. Did you have a traumatic adolescence?
Huh? Oh, no. I'm sad because the Baroness obviously missed. Let's see if this thing's working.
Oh my God! It smells like a toddler had an accident, then wrapped it in moldy Limburger cheese and stuffed it in the armpit of a corpse that's been rotting in the sun all day.
Frederick, look, it's a cat. He went back into hiding. Apparently he agrees with your assessment of the food.
Yeah, I guess it just doesn't want to spend the next 72 hours in the bathroom.
I might need this. Let's try this food. Hey, Frederick! He likes it! Who are you?
I like it. A better question would be, who was I? I used to be the Baroness von Kiefer's familiar.
What's a familiar?
A familiar is kind of a special guardian that witches use. I used to serve the Baroness in various ways. Protect her special items while she was away. You know, that kind of thing. Back in the day, I even had some limited magical powers of my own.
What happened?
Well, I guess I wasn't as powerful as the Baroness was hoping. So my job was outsourced to a homunculus.
What do you do around here?
Mostly hunt rats. I used to do it just for sport, but I have to admit Shroudy hardly ever feeds me, and the rats are downright tasty.
Do you always eat the rats you catch?
Eventually. Although sometimes I just smack them around for a few hours and maybe scratch them a couple of times. Then I pretend to lose interest. At some point, they figure they're actually going to escape and make a run for it. At the last second, I pounce on them. If I time it just right, I can feel the wave of crushing despair wash over them. It's really a lot of fun.
Damn, that's harsh.
No, it's harsh when I do it to them a second time. You know, just before I bite their little heads off and nibble on their tiny feet.
You mentioned you used to guard various items. What type of things specifically?
Mostly I watched over 2 very special books in the library. To say more would be indiscreet.
That is all I need to know. No, I can't hurt this poor creature. In fact, I think maybe I'll help her. That collar looks a little too tight.
Glad you reconsidered, for your own sake. You know what they say, never bring a knife to a gunfight.
Look out, Mona. Sounds like this kitty might be packing heat.
I see you're back.
I have the collar for you right here.
You fulfilled your end of the bargain, and for that, I'll tell you the names of the 2 books you need to pull out and put back in on the shelf in the library. They are How to Build a Better Body in Just 30 Days by Dr. Rigor Mortis, and the other is Sharpening Young Fangs, Parent's Guide to Raising the Perfect Vampire by Dr. Max Schreck. You got it? Find those books, and you'll find your way into the Baroness's laboratory. Good luck, Dollface.
Thanks. I'll go try them. Oh, and by the way, before we whacked the whacket, she said she was going to haunt you and your associates for the rest of your lives, and that none of you would escape her spirit's vengeance. Just thought I'd pass that on.
Want the bag of rats? Yeah, right. Give me a break, lady. And by the way, how did she know it was us who sent you?
Sorry, fellas. I let it slip. You see, I had a friend who was haunted by a cat she ran over on her bike. She never slept soundly again. She kept hearing the low, mournful cries of that poor, flattened kitty cat calling to her. I'm going to get you, meow. I'm going to get you, meow. Well, you fellas have a good night, and thanks for the information. This looks like one of Shouty's old coloring books. It has a picture of a newt in it. Glad to see he was at least a normal child.
Except he did this as an adult. This is fresh crayon, and that's a new box.
Oh, dear. This will be useful. I'll take it. The books didn't work! Those dirty rats! It's a shelf full of weird rectangles.
They're called books.
Boring. Knife sprinter. Oh, positive. Common, yet delicious. I'm done with these books for now. Look, Frederick, a notepad.
Excellent observation, my dear Watson. Let's investigate this notepad further.
How come I'm Watson? You're more like Watson than I am.
Well, you certainly know Sherlock.
I can see the imprint from the Baroness's pen.
Read it.
Why don't you, Sherlock?
I can't read it. It's not my fault bats haven't evolved the ability to read impressions on paper yet.
Well, I can't read it either. The writing is too faint. I read about this neat trick of using a pencil to read word impressions in a book once.
You read?
All right. My friend read the book, okay?
You have friends who read?
Okay. So my friend's brother read the book that had this neat trick in it and told me about it. There. Happy? Let's see if this will work.
Your friend's brother's author is a genius.
Aha! Look, Frederick, a clue.
Brilliant. What's it say?
It's a list of book titles. A Teen Campbell's Guide to Crystal Lake. Transylvania on 2 pints a day. The Dark Knight Returns. And Sharpening Your Fangs, a parent's guide to raising the perfect vampire. What does all this mean?
Great job, Sherlock. Apparently we found the clue, but what it's a clue for is a mystery.
I thought you were Sherlock. It's the Baroness's desk. Looks like there's some kind of journal sitting on it.
Ooh, a journal. Let's read it. Maybe we'll find out which boys she likes and what she thinks of her parents.
I don't think it's that kind of journal, Frederick.
It just says, visit Von Kiefer, and then there's a period and the word come. It's very interesting.
That makes no sense. We found the titles of the secret library books. Can you tell us more about them?
I'm just too tired. Those rats from the crypt keep sneaking in while I sleep. I never wake up in time to catch them.
That is all I need to know.
Hey, hello there yourself, Dollface. How you doing today?
We were thinking we might leave some food out for you. What time were you thinking you were going to go up and raid the kitchen?
Why are you so curious about what time we are going to be in the kitchen?
No reason. We just thought we could leave some food out for you, but I didn't want to do it too early. Otherwise, the cockroaches would get it.
Right. We saw some big old nasty ones up there.
Well, I think my men will be raiding the kitchen around 3 a.m. So if you want to leave a little extra food out for us, feel free.
Thanks. We'll see you lads later.
You bet your sweet tush you will. Believe you me.
Au revoir. Hello again. Hey, we found out what times the rats are going to raid the kitchen. It's 3 a.m.
Wonderful. I can sleep till then. In return, I'll tell you that you simply need to switch the placement of the 2 library books.
Happy hunting!
That is all I need to know. Yippee!
Holy maggot poppers on wheat. Get a load of this place.
Yes, I would have to agree. It does look rather impressive.
Maybe she's got the recipe for a ghost repellent around here somewhere. If not ghost, maybe just some jerk repellent.
I surely hope so, Frederick. One thing's for sure. We're not going to find much of anything just sitting around here gabbing.
You're right, Mona. Let's trash the place.
Search the place, Frederick. Let's search the place.
Oh, man. I never get to cause wanton destruction.
Ah, the night is still young, Frederick. The night is still young. It looks like there might be something hidden inside the River of Snot.
We've gotta find a way to plug that guy's nose.
Gross! Do we have to? It's a chalkboard with some writing on it.
I'm gonna go out on a wing and say that the Baroness was not moonlighting as a schoolteacher. She must have been using the chalkboard as part of the dark arts she was practicing.
We should take a closer look at what's been written on there. It might be helpful. It's a chalkboard. Must be where the Baroness wrote notes for her magic spells. There's some sort of recipe on it. It says, Formula for creating carbon-based organic acid. This part is less clear. It says 3 beakers, purple hearts, green clovers, and orange diamonds. Then 1/3 demonic snot. Ugh, yuck. 1/3 colored drink, 1/3 colored drink.
Why didn't she say 2/3 color drink?
She was an evil sorceress. Who knows how their kind divide? Anyway, let me finish. Cool first, warm second, and cool last.
Cool.
Look for a pink hue. Oh, I love pink. Heat to a boil in a ceramic cauldron till it is glowing red hot. Use demonic heat.
Not good. Demonic and heat are 2 words that should not be uttered in the same sentence.
Pour on carbon-based life form and enjoy. What is a carbon-based life form?
We are. Anything living or made from something living is carbon-based, though some scientists and science fiction writers, notably Jules Verne, theorize that...
Thanks. That will do. It looks like some strange alien controls.
that control the power source to this place, no doubt.
It's a Bunsen burner, a small stove used to heat things. It looks like the door to an icebox, and it's all frosted over. It's an empty ceramic beaker with a heart symbol. It looks like some kind of locking mechanism.
Let's take a closer look.
It's a shelf full of weird rectangles. A Teen Camper's Guide to Crystal Lake Basin. The Dark Knight returns. Sharpening Your Fangs, A Parent's Guide to Raising the Perfect Vampire by Dr. Max Schreck. I'm done with these books for now.
Did it, Mona!
What did I do?
For one thing, you stopped the worst case of post-nasal drip in recorded history.
It looks like there was something hidden in the River of Snot.
Why do I suddenly have the feeling that our adventure just became a bit more adventurous? It must be the special book that Iron Maiden Bob told us about. What did she call it?
The Book of Shrouds. I bet there's something in that book that can help us.
With a name like that, it's gotta be cool. I can't wait to look inside. Wow, what a crazy looking book. It looks like there are a bunch of books within the book.
Interesting. They are all locked. I'll try this one. It looks like the recipe for a spell. It says, "Beware ye who trieth the spell of golem creation, a spell to give magical life to things that have never lived, made up of ye earths, carved by man, and in full man shape. For truly dark magic will thee loose upon the earth, and that is a good thing. I just wanted to warn ye, so ye wouldn't complain later. But if ye be foolish enough to continue, then know that you must find 4 ingredients and mix them into a pure crystal vial. Then spray ye man-like object, and enjoy. Ye golem will then follow all ye commands, even the one she doesn't like. First, find ye the devil's own plant, deadly nightshade. Then, pluck the flower from that plant and put it in the crystal vial. Next, no spell be complete without ye eye of Newt. Don't asketh me why, but ye magic seemeth to be concentrated in the eyes of Newt. Next, the spell needeth the horrid stench of a gargoyle's breath. Since they be living rock, thine energy be required. And lasteth, ye needeth be powdered bones of a murdered virgin, fresh ground and pure virgin. No bones of woman who gotteth drunk and don't remembereth what happened after prom. That does not counteth. Ye know what I'm talking about, so no messing around, pure virgin. To recap, get a belladonna flower, gargoyle breath, bone powder from a virgin, and the eye of a newt. Mix them in a crystal vial and spray onto man-shaped statue of earth or stone.
Okay, fine. crystal vial, gargoyle breath. I think I know where we can get some of that. The rest is tricky. Newts are tough to find in the winter. I know. I've tried. And I know where to get some bones. Stinky ones, but bones nonetheless. I have no idea if they're virgins or not, but we obviously can't use one of your bones.
Hey! Hey!
I mean, you need all of yours, is what I meant. Anyway, I think we have our work cut out for us if we want to use this spell.
Let's find out what's inside.
Wow, the refrigerator is pretty cold.
I don't want to carry it around with me, but now that I know it's here, I can use it if I need to. Kind of big to carry around, but I'll remember it's here. I'd better grab this. Grab this. I better grab this. Hey, Fodrick, do you think this drawing of a newt will work for the eye of newt?
Give it a shot, and let's hope that supernatural science is not as literal as real science.
Inky smells really, really foul.
Yeah, probably from all the tourists rotting in his gizzard.
Disgusting. Maybe the whole perfume bottle will make him smell better. Breathe into this bottle.
Why should I?
Because we need your breath for something.
Clever.
Well, then I will never breathe into that.
Great. Good going. You ever heard of tricking people into doing things they otherwise wouldn't do?
I'm sorry. I thought it was best to go with a direct approach.
Which do you like better? The direct approach or getting the hell out of here, eh?
I see your point. Bad. This will get him to open his mouth eventually.
Hold your breath all you want, blockhead. You have to breathe eventually.
It will never work, plebeians. I can hold my breath for 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll just see about that.
Missed.
Drat!
Dang! I just missed. Dang! I just missed. Dang! I just missed.
Yes!
There! I got it! Thank you, Rufus. Your services will no longer be needed.
You are most decidedly not welcome.
I hope this will help the flowers grow.
I just hope it doesn't eat a hole through the bottom of the planter box.
This is one of the ingredients we need to complete the spell. It's a pair of rickety old columns holding up the walkway. It doesn't look like they've been used for years.
I'm pretty sure those columns are made out of pyrogony, an extremely rare and special Draxylvanian wood. Pyrogony wood is very resistant to flame. It's pretty much impossible to burn. That's probably why the Baroness used it down here, so that the demonic snot wouldn't catch it on fire.
It's a window for the dungeon.
I forgot my compass, but if I had to guess, I'd say that window faces east. It's the frail remains of one of the late Baroness's prisoners.
It appears to be a list containing information about the prisoner.
It's nice to know Shroudy's mother was so thorough. I'm sure it's hard to take good notes while you're busy torturing somebody. She must have been an excellent multitasker.
It says, prisoner identified as Irish tourist Shannon O'Doherty, initially observed as member of local nunnery tourist exchange. The nuns only arrange tours for the most pious of individuals. Virginity has been confirmed. Her blood is exactly what I need to help unlock the mystery of the Book of Shrouds. That's terrible. Why would anyone need blood? I'll see if I can lower it. The walkway isn't coming down. It looks like the controls are broken. Fodrick, help me ferry those bones to safety.
Sure, no problem. We better not try and grab them. You see how fragile they are? The moment we disturb them, they'll tumble into the demonic goo.
You're right. I guess we'll just have to find some other way to retrieve those bones. It's an empty ceramic beaker with a heart symbol. It's an empty ceramic beaker with a diamond symbol. It's an empty ceramic beaker with a clover symbol. It's a sugar-free soda pop. This should make the cherry soda undiet.
Sweet!
Yes, it should be sweeter.
No, I meant sweet as in that's cool. Sorry for the confusion. Next time I'll just say awesome.
Look, the liquid in the hot beaker turned purple. The liquid in the diamond beaker turned bright orange. I've already done that. Interesting. The liquid in the clover beaker turned bright green. It worked! Now what? I really like that to work, but it just won't. Sorry. I really like that to work, but it just won't. Sorry. The ingredients aren't mixing. How can we make this cauldron hotter?
Add fishnet stockings and high heels.
stuff, but it's got quite a kick.
Kind of reminds me of the bat shine my Uncle Jess used to make. I remember this one time, I brought a jar of it to a party. All I really remember is taking the first couple of sips. Then the next thing you know, it's 5 hours later, I'm in a complete stranger's belfry, I suddenly have this new tattoo, and to top it all off, my pants are missing.
This sounds like an incredibly touching story, but I'm afraid we don't have time to hear it right now. Look, Fodrick! It's boiling! It has turned bright red! It worked! Let's try the magic acid we made on those columns. The walkway is down now. Let's just get what we need and get out of here.
Back? Stay back, I say. I don't wish to harm you, but I'll do so if you leave me no choice.
What now? Can't anything ever be easy?
Hello, may I talk to you?
My name is Shannon O'Doherty. I've come from Ireland to search far and wide for my one true love.
How did you end up in Draxylvania, of all places?
I did some research into local demographics. There appeared to be a discrepancy in regards to the number of men versus the number of women in the greater Draxylvanian area. Apparently, many of the women have died over recent years due to an unusual outbreak of anemia. Interestingly enough, this same affliction seems to have taken its toll on the local paperboy population. I figured with so many men available, I was bound to find my one true love.
Were you able to find a man?
Indeed I was. Not long after I arrived here with my tour group, I received a letter at my hotel. It was addressed to me from Burgermeister Willem Vinton, Mayor of Gosford Falls. He said he was interested in meeting me after catching a glimpse of my fiery red hair.
Did you ever get to meet this Burgermeister, William Vinton?
Yes, but only briefly. He came to my hotel saying he wanted to meet me. As the mayor of Gosford Falls, he always enjoyed spending time with young ladies new to the area. I believe he took a liking to me, for he invited me to come up to his room so we could discuss Draxylvanian history.
Sounds like this Burgermeister was looking to get to know a wee bit of the Irish.
How did you end up in this castle?
A woman came to speak with our tour group, saying that she was the Baroness von Kiefer. She asked me how old I was and how it came to be that I was in Draxylvania. After I told her about myself, she offered me a job working at her castle. Since I knew that I had found my true love in Willem, I decided to stay in Draxylvania and took her up on her offer. The first night in the castle, the Baroness brought me a warm cup of tea. After taking a drink, I grew very tired, and the next thing I remember is waking up here.
Why don't you leave here?
I surely want to, but until my bones can be buried in a consecrated grave, I must guard them till the end of time.
Bummer. All of your bones, you say, or most of them?
Good question. I'll have to ask.
Ask whom?
Another good question. My, you're just full of them. Why do you ask, anyway?
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Would it be alright if we borrowed one of those bones there? I can't let you do that. I'm saving them for my burial in consecrated ground. I feel the need to stay here until that happens. Do you guard your bones all the time? I must stand vigil through this endless night. My true love, Willem, rescues me at dawn. He'll bury my bones and hold me in his arms forever. Oh, how I long for the morning. Well, thank you for our little chat. It was me pleasure.
Mona, it's clear that there's no way we're going to get those bones while she's still guarding them. And she's apparently going to be guarding them until the sun comes up.
But that will be too late. I can't wait until the sun rises.
Then I guess we're in deep guano.
No virgin ghost is going to stop me.
Mona, I like your confidence.
I don't want to fly into that. Wait, you know what? I do.
Great!
Now, why didn't we open that trapdoor before?
Certainly! If we just... the key! The rats! Rufus! Ugh.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Foldsik, here's a chance to put that mouth of yours to good use. Foldsik, it looks like the levels are going to work now.
We'll have to take a closer look.
Maybe we can use this image someplace. I'll just cut them out in case. I might need them, although I can't carry them around, but I'll keep them in mind. Fodrick, would you go get those theater flats we cut out?
Sure, if you tell me where they go.
Fodrick, fly over and hang the sun backdrop outside of the window. Maybe we can trick Shannon into thinking the sun has risen.
Okay, I'll get right on it.
So, how is it being a ghost?
Boring as heck.
Boring as heck, huh? Sorry to hear that. What about the heat from this demonic goo?
Tolerable. As you can imagine, I don't feel much as a ghost.
No, I would think not.
And being a vampire?
Well, there is some doubt about me being a vampire.
Really? You look like a vampire. And the teeth!
Yes, odd about those, but I'm still not convinced.
Interesting.
Hurry up, Fodrick! What is taking you so long?
What?
Oh, nothing. Just wondering where my bat went. Oh, thank God.
Phew! Done.
What took you so long?
I had to get some nails and jam them into the crack outside. And lady, those things aren't exactly light.
Shh!
What is this? Has the sun risen already? I can see it, but something isn't quite right. It seems like it's morning, but somehow I'm not convinced.
I think she almost believes that it's dawn.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode, and as usual, leave a comment down below, subscribe for more video updates, and share this on your Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and all other social medias. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to turn on the notification bell to stay up to date on my YouTube channel. And if you guys want to help me out in some shape or form, I do have a Patreon account down below in the description box. And as usual, thank you for watching everybody, and have a pleasant day. Bye bye.